Congressman Andy Biggs, member of the House Judiciary and Oversight Committees, and an Arizona gubernatorial candidate. I know, Congressman, that it's next door in New Mexico, but what do you make of this judge, Cano, having an alleged TDA gang member who was arrested by the authorities living on his property?
It's one of the most bizarre things that you can imagine, right? I mean, a judge having a TDA guy living on his property. I mean, when you think about how widespread the TDA is now in the United States, and we're having to go back and clean up this mess, I'll just tell you, this is a result ultimately of the Biden-Mayorkas program called the Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, Venezuela program, where we were actually facilitating up to 30,000 Venezuelans coming into our country, getting priority to come into our country every month. And the result is a lot of Tren de Aragua guys came on in, and they've been terrorizing some of our communities ever since.
So there's the point that the Biden administration, as you say, facilitated the entry of all of these Venezuelans through the CHNV program. But now there's also this FBI report that suggests that Venezuelan authorities were also facilitating the entry of TDA members into the United States as a way to try to destabilize the U.S. That this finding by the FBI would seem to buttress Donald Trump's claim that he can use the Alien Enemies Act to get these people out of the country.
100%. I mean, he first of all, he came in and designated them as a terrorist organization with several cartels. And when you see government interaction with these gangsters, I mean, these are violent criminals, and they have a purpose. That purpose is to destabilize the United States. In fact, their whole region, Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, Chile, they're trying to destabilize a region, but particularly the havoc that they've caused in the United States of America in various communities. I think of Aurora, Colorado, places up in near Chicago. And when you start seeing that, and you realize that government action on the part of Venezuela is involved, yes, then you can use that 1798 Act, and in my opinion, and I think the courts are wrong and they've closed their eyes to what's really happening, actually.
All right. Now, Congressman, Democrats, as we've been reporting, have made the deportation of Kilmar Abrego Garcia a big political issue. But many, even people within the party, say it's a losing strategy. Here's a caller on political analyst Mark Halpern's podcast. Listen to this.
I am Hispanic, but I am a citizen, legal citizen, and I am disgusted, and I am so angry with liberals going out of the country for this guy. I don't understand what they're trying to say to the Hispanic community. Like, are they trying to pick votes? Why are they doing this? It's not doing anything. It's just making us more angry. That's all.
And as you know, Congressman, 5 of your Democratic colleagues have traveled to El Salvador to show support for Abrego Garcia. American taxpayers shelled out for Senator Chris Van Hollen's visit. And former vice presidential candidate Governor Tim Walz gave Minnesota's State of the State address last night and seemed to allude to Garcia without using his name. Listen to this.
The president has also chosen, and I stress this, chosen to tear up the values that once made America the shining light of the world. Now, in this land of the free and home of the brave, we have university students being swept up, shoved into unmarked vans, and fathers being tossed into Salvadorian gulags without a hint of due process.
President Trump posting this morning, the Democrats are fighting like hell to keep murderers and all other types of criminals solidly in the United States of America. They've gone crazy and are only getting worse. Tim Walz alluded to a lack of due process, and it looked like he was talking about Abrego Garcia. He had due process. There was a deportation order against him. There was also a withholding order that he not be deported back to El Salvador. The situation there under Nayib Bukele has changed dramatically as it relates to the gangs. And it was the administrative error, apparently, that sent him to El Salvador or somewhere else. But he received due process.
Yeah, 100% he received due process. There were 2 removal orders. There was a withdrawal order. But the reality is, whether it was a clerical error or anything else, that individual, Kilmar, is actually an El Salvadoran citizen. He was illegally in this country, and he's an El Salvadoran. President Trump can't order President Bukele to return him. That's President Bukele has to make that decision. But But what's weird about this, what's strange, is that the Democrats have made this guy, this bad guy, allegedly a human trafficker, a human smuggler. He's a wife, a spouse abuser. I mean, they make him the poster child of why you want to have due process and bring this guy back in, instead of just saying, look, we've got some problems that we got to take care of, and we've got bad people here, and they need to be removed from this country because we need to protect our citizens. They are not taking that approach at all. They're not talking to people who've been victimized by criminal illegal aliens. They're instead going down trying to not just rehabilitate, but to rehabilitate the reputation, create a narrative to bring them back into the United States. It's outrageous.
So one more point, Congressman, when it comes to Abrego Garcia. We know that more than one judge determined that he was affiliated with MS-13. But also an excerpt from an appeals court document shown here from 2019 reads, quote, "We adopt and affirm the immigration judge's danger ruling. The immigration judge appropriately considered allegations of gang affiliations against the respondent in determining that he has not demonstrated that he is not a danger to property or to the community." Yet this, as you pointed out, is the hill that Democrats, many of them at least, have decided to die on.
Yeah, incredible. You got a gangbanger. And by the way, the same people that refused to stand up to honor a 13-year-old brain cancer survivor at the joint speech, they're going down to save a spouse-abusing gangbanger in El Salvador. That's how screwed up their values that Governor Walz is talking about. He's talking about their values. Their values are so screwed up that the vast majority of the American people no longer see the Democrat Party as being a party of rationality.
Well, somebody at least appears to have gotten religion surrounding all of this, because Governor Gavin Newsom of California plans to comply with ICE officials after a twice-deported Mexican illegal alien convicted of killing 2 teens in a fiery DUI crash is set to be released from prison in July. He will have served only 3.5 years of a 10-year sentence. Newsom's office posting, quote, "After being deported in 2013, this individual unlawfully re-entered the United States and committed heinous crimes. California Department of Corrections will again coordinate with ICE, as they have with 10,000 plus inmates, to transfer him before release." Our own Bill Malugin sat down with the parents of the 2 teens killed. Listen to this emotional interview here.
I got a knock on the door, and there's 2 police officers. They told me there was a horrible incident.
2 young, productive American citizens killed for nothing. And that illegal immigrant, who already has been deported twice, is going to be released again?
You know, it's quite an about face for the governor, but it does show that maybe the death of common sense has not occurred in totality here.
Yeah, but just think what had to happen. There had to be enormous political and public outrage to get Governor Newsom to walk back that release. Mm-hmm. And what they're going to do is, this guy's not going to serve his full sentence. He's going to be transferred to ICE, and it's going to be hopefully an in the department, in the facility itself transfer. That isn't what's happening. And when he says that they've transferred 10,000, well, over how many years? Between 2018 and 2020, in Orange County alone, they released over 2,000 illegal aliens, criminal illegal aliens, back into Orange County alone. And these sanctuary cities basically are harboring, by a study released last year by CIS, about 8 million illegal aliens. These people, these victims, those families, they're not alone. There are many victims and many families who've watched the people who have violated their families and in many respects destroyed them be released. Here's one high-profile case, hallelujah, but there needs to be more.
And the DOJ says it's going to file its own charges against this man. We'll see what comes of that. Congressman, good to talk to you. Andy Biggs of Arizona. Appreciate your time, sir.